meron sa Lasal or dito talaga?
Mag-start pa lang.
Good morning, everyone. So before we get into what our project is itself, I would like to tell you about a little context on what it is first. So these are the Sustainable Development Goals. So these 17 interconnected goals are the goals of serve as a blueprint for humanity so that they may be able to achieve a better and sustainable life in the future. So for our project, we focus on the second Sustainable Development Goal, which is zero hunger. And for each goal, there are a specific number of targets which serve as objectives to be able to achieve the goal itself. So we would also focus on target 2.2, which is by the year 2030 end all forms of malnutrition, including achieving by 2025 the internationally agreed targets on stunting and wasting in children under 5 years of age and address the nutritional needs of adults and girls, pregnant and lactating women, and older persons.
Number why have we chosen this project? From what we have gathered, we have gathered that statistics show that 1 out of 3 Filipino children suffer from malnutrition. Now this is due to the involuntary hunger that is experienced by most Filipinos. Considering the population of the Philippines, this is actually a very alarming number. And you have to consider that children aged as young as 2 or 1 year old are suffering from these conditions. From this, our group decided to create a project that would aid in improving or helping alleviate these conditions.
So after everything we've read about the Sustainable Development Goals, zero hunger, and the current status of hunger and malnutrition in our country, our problem statement would be there is a lack of nutritional status and health information about children suffering from malnutrition due to the inaccessibility of medical services. So this is our vision. We aim to have collated medical records of children for each specific location or each small community. Also the improvement of data collection and data gathering of medical records. Cooperation and strengthened relationships among the different organizations who share the same goal as ours, and faster medical responses through the help of the network of information that we aim to achieve. So our project would be a user-friendly application that holds a database of medical records of children in each small community. So these are what we need. The source of data of children's medical records, developers for the mobile application, who are us, and contact details and consent from the different organizations. So far, our prototype looks like this, but we won't be having a demo just yet because it's still under construction. So on the right side, it shows the medical record of a sample medical record of a child. And our group has decided that the name of our project would be iTala.
For our stakeholders, we have targeted organizations or formations who cater their projects towards zero hunger. Aside from organizations, we have also decided to contact coalitions to widen the reach of our project. Since multiple organizations and formations are already part of these coalitions, like for example, Rise Against Hunger, we are able to gather much more data and we are able to reach a lot more people. Aside from formations who cater to zero hunger, we would also want to partner with student formations who design their projects towards the children's welfare and well-being. So for the implementation, on how our project will be implemented or is being implemented, we started by contacting our stakeholders to be able to schedule their interviews or send them our interview questions. And after that, that's when we start editing our works. However, we are still waiting for some replies from other organizations that we have contacted. But there is one formation that we will be discussing later on. Currently, we have proceeded to the prototype as shown earlier. We created the general look and idea of the application. but the application itself, however, has not been applied since we want to first consult with the organizations how they would want our application to look or the improvements that they would want to add or some factors that we would like to be removed. And then before making our final application, we wanted to invite other organizations. After it's already launched, that's when we also call for other formations that may be interested in this application.
And so one of the organizations that we were able to contact was the Children's Dreams Foundation Incorporated. They actually started in the Philippines in Davao. And it was started due to the burden felt by Pastor Kiboloy, who was evangelizing in different parts. And then he has this burden for the kids who haven't been able to be as privileged as other people are in regard to in terms of their food, in terms of education, and so they started Children's Dreams Foundation Incorporated, which is actually they actually have branches around the Philippines, and the partner we were able to contact was in Imus, Cavite. And one of the problems that they faced in their interview was first was financial matters, as for the projects that they will do. Others is religious matters. Since they were basically a Christian foundation, they had trouble doing projects in places that had Muslim, was mostly a Muslim area. And another one was that the problem that they encountered was that in asking for permission in municipalities or in barangays, when they ask for what specific nutritional value would they want to give out to children, like in terms of food, they weren't able to give the foundation what they wanted because it would be harder to get the records because they were usually not in digital form, so it was harder. They would have to invest time in finding the files, and they haven't really compiled everything in a manner that would be easier to tell other people who are asking for this information. And this is their mission, and it would reach the ranks of disadvantaged children. So they mostly implement in places that have neglected children or areas that have been hit by typhoons or earthquakes. And
malnutrition also has the different side effects on children. So, as you have mentioned earlier, malnutrition is one of the leading causes of death among children. And according to UNICEF, children suffer from lifelong effects as they grow, including increased vulnerability to diseases, developmental delays, stunted growth, and even blindness in some cases. With this, it prevents them from achieving success in school as well as meaningful work in adulthood. So in line with this, we have a sample persona who benefit from our solution, which is Itala. So a brief background on our persona is like child who is suffering from severe acute malnutrition, which requires immediate treatment because it leaves the child thin and skeletal, and sometimes the odds of survival were also low. With our application, doctors who will be using the application can store child age data into the application, which addresses the problem of lacking data. Therefore, it can help them provide continuous treatment and appropriate diagnosis through time and be able to eliminate or minimize the effects of malnutrition. And if you want to learn more about our project, here's our website for it. So, thank you.